need to keep your oath. That seems to be the polar opposite difference. And you suggested when we encounter such a difference, the only recourse you would have is to suggest that the Quran is the one which supersedes. You said the biblical revelation has been superseded by the Quran according to the Quran. I think you mentioned Surah chapter 5, I think. That is what you said. I didn't put words into your mouth. You can check out your recording. That was your explanation. I'd like to thank you at least for saying that you haven't got any other valid explanation for the fact that there is polar opposite characteristic between the Islamic Allah and Yahweh clearly showing them. You then also went on to make a remark about the Quran talking about us having to be just and so on and good and so on. You made that at the start. My problem is this. If a person makes 10 truthful statements and 2 untruthful statements, by simple convention of language and practice, we call him a liar.
Okay.
Not a truthful man.
Okay.
The moment you have one immoral attribute, and in this case that being absolution of oaths, i.e. not having to keep your word, if that is what is coming from Islamic Allah, we could go through all other attributes a bit later. The moment we see this, we already see an immoral Islamic Allah who can't be reconciled with the Yahweh of the Bible. You also said Islamic Allah might have suggested this. I don't think you made this point quite in this way, but you were talking about whatever Islamic Allah said was for our benefit, not for his benefit, not for the benefit of the Creator and so on. Absolutely, that is not the point here. I'm not asking who benefits from what. All that I'm asking is, what is the characteristic of Islamic Allah versus the characteristic of Yahweh? Islamic Allah seems to be quite casual with, even for simple things about this lady and that lady, even for simple things like that, he seems to be quite alright with people not keeping their word.
I'm sorry,
and
Arul,
I'm saying
Arul.
Yahweh does not allow that to happen.
Okay, no problem.
In other words,
one second, Arul.
I'll come.
You are taking too much time.
But making sensible comments about the topic we're talking about.
They are illogical.
Islamic Allah
Can we just
is
restrict
polar
it?
opposite to Yahweh.
Okay.
You haven't given a reasonable explanation as to why this is the case. I could suggest, if you just give me one moment, I could suggest why this is the case. 1 minute.
No. It's fine.
I could suggest why this is the case, and the suggestion that I have is the God of the Bible with all his signs and wonders is the only true God who cares about morality. Islamic Allah, on the other hand, doesn't seem to have a proper standard of morality. In this particular case, not caring to stick to his word. Therefore, I earnestly invite you to come to the one who has a superior moral standard, Yahweh. Islamic Allah would not even keep his word in regards to you going to heaven. Forget about him. Come back to Jesus.
Now, you see, Arul, you made so many points, but the ones that I would really like to respond to are the ones that are appropriate to the conversation. I said to you very clearly, my quote getting heavy. Right, it's out. Right, Arul, you see, you said something quite important. You said if a person tells 8 truths and 2 lies, you, according to your standard of the Bible, would consider him a liar.
Normal convention.
No, I was going to come to that. 1 second. And you also said that, conventionally speaking, that is how one would be viewed. Okay, no problem. I asked you, and I'll repeat again just in case you missed it. When you referred to that particular surah, I then said in response, look, in Surah 135, this is what it says about how we have to be just even against ourselves. Now, what you seem to have totally missed is that if there is any issue about the suspension or the absolution of oaths, there is a specific reason to it. I think it totally missed you. I then referred to N294 of the 613 commandments as evinced by the Jewish scholars, they say that it's not a sin if you are going to be accused of a sin which was done under duress. Now I then said to you, wait a minute, Arul, if you are saying 8 truths and 2 untruths makes a person by convention a liar, I then said to you, okay, Ezekiel chapter 14 verse 9 says that God directly deceived. Now,
Never does.
whoa, one second. God directly deceived. I'll clarification.
Show me, just
one-
because you brought
one
that up,
second, one
just
second,
because
one
you brought
second,
that
one
up, Shabir, show
Arul,
me one
Arul,
person
Arul,
in the Bible who
Arul,
God deceived.
Arul,
One person,
Arul,
please.
calm down. I didn't interject. Now I've told you very clearly. I am asking you, and I get, brother, is there a problem? Are you talking to me or are you talking to him? Oh, okay, that's fine. Ezekiel 14:9, brother, I'm telling you, but can you just pull up the word invade again? Right? And you see, now it will make sense to you when I said that, look, if we wanted to end this conversation with one statement, and there are a few others which I haven't even referred to yet, one statement here, chapter 14 verse 9 of the book of Ezekiel is very clear, okay? I want you to tell me, when it says here, I am Jehovah, and the prophet is invade, speak the word, I, Jehovah, have invaded that prophet. What does the word invade mean?
Persuade someone to do something by means of deception or flattery.
Now, does it say here that the Creator, Jehovah, according to the biblical understanding, deceived this particular individual? Yes or no?
Shabir, I am
it's
willing
a
to
simple
have a
question.
long
It's a
conversation.
simple
I know,
question.
but
Yes or no?
irrelevant to the conversation now.
Arul, 1 second. I'll tell you how it is relevant. You need to expand your understanding. Yeah? You see, Arul, if according to your understanding and your view, which you hold strongly, Arul, you said very clearly, a person who says 8 truths and 2 lies conventionally is called a liar. I'm saying, listen, you are referring to 2 Samuels, you are referring to how oaths must be held to. I'm saying to you, wait a minute, how in the world are you trusting something where the very author is saying that he is a deceiver? Now, I'm asking you a simple question. According to this verse, Arul, does it say God deceived this person? Yes or no?
Shabir, is that your turn?
No, I'm asking first, and then I can go forward. Yes or no? Is it
My
saying
response, Shabir, is clear. Yahweh of the Bible, I have read my Bible carefully, right through, and I can challenge you, God of the Bible does not deceptively act. Period.
Okay, Arul.
Period.
Arul.
Now, can I
No,
please
I'm
also
sorry.
suggest
No.
that's an
Arul,
ocean
Arul, my friend.
you can hide in,
Arul,
which I don't
Arul,
want to happen.
Arul, you are
Can
drowned in it. I am not even hiding.
That's
Listen
fine.
to me, Arul.
Can we please
Listen,
come back?
I have come back. I think you are conceiving of what I'm saying. I'll simplify it a bit more. Listen, Arul. I said to you, if you are going to accuse, or rather suggest that the Quranic creator, okay, allows willy-nilly, according to you, to break oaths, I'm saying, wait a minute, I have explained to you. Are you familiar with the 613 commandments as evinced by the Jewish scholars? Are you familiar with them?
I am.
You are. So in 294, where it says very clearly, one second, where it says very clearly that, look, if a person sins under duress, they are not to be punished. Now, you see, Arul, you need to expand your thinking. What I mean by that is that there are going to be reasons or certain actions that are going to be undertaken by people which were forced on them. So, for example, if somebody forces you or puts you under pain of death to deny the Creator, and you deny the Creator, are you found guilty according to N294? The answer is no. I know you will not respond. Okay, now I'm asking you a simple question, Arul. According to your standard, the standard of keeping oaths even to death, as you said, I'm asking you a simple question based on that. According to the very same book, which is talking about the God that you believe in, which is apparently polar opposite. In Ezekiel 14:9 is saying very clearly, he deceives a person directly. I'm asking you a simple question, Arul, in the context of this moral aspect. Do you agree that according to Ezekiel 14:9, here I'm reading it, it is saying God deceived this particular individual? Yes or no?
Which individual?
I thought you've read the Bible.
I
Here,
know. Which
I'll read it
individual?
again.
Do you have a specific
I'll read
name
it.
there?
I'll read
Please,
it. I'll
please bring
read
that
it
up.
again. It actually says, I have deliberately deceived the prophet.
Which one?
Does it matter now?
It really
Oh,
matters.
excellent. Let's go
Because
back. Let's-
you see,
excellent.
this is what
excellent,
Samshi did the other day.
No.
This is what Samshi did the other day.
Excellent.
He brought in a case where God hadn't deceived anyone, but because Samshi can't read beyond a particular word, not the entire statement.
Excellent. The whole thing here is about what? Prophets.
Which
False prophets? Here, false ones. Okay. Now, I'm asking.
So which particular prophet is that talking
One
about?
second. Do you want the context as well? No problem.
Which particular
no.
prophet is that talking about?
I'm so glad you are asking me that. It means you have taken actually a step forward. Good.
Now,
one second.
And I need
My
to move
friend,
on now.
no, here it is. It is taking you and some of the elders of Israel at chapter 14 start. Okay, it talks about them. You carry on reading it. Here is the classic issue which you are now trying to.
Have you got
One
an
second.
answer, Shabir?
I'm giving you the answer.
Which prophet was deceived?
I'm giving you the
Please
answer.
give me the answer.
I am giving you the answer. Okay. I am telling you here, when it comes all the way back to here, the question that is being asked and you are now trying to avoid is simple. Can you read yours as well?
No, Shabir,
Read yours as well. Come on. Oh, come on, Arul. Come
I'm
on.
not here.
It is a very
I'm
important
not here
issue.
to play
Okay, I will.
some little games here. I'm here to deal with serious
I'm trying
moral
to, but I think
issues.
Brother Arul is having a
Shabir,
problem.
my challenge in that regard.
It's a moral issue. I'll tell you what.
Have you finished now?
One second. No,
I'll let you finish.
I asked you a very simple one. 3 times I'm asking, and I'll ask you again. Okay. The whole of the chapter is there. You can read it as well. I'm here. I'm telling you where it is talking about. I, Jehovah, am going to reply to him. I, Jehovah, have deceived that prophet and will swing my hand over him and rout him out. The question you are asking, well, listen to your logic. I'm saying to you, wait, whether it's James, John, Jesus, Muhammad, Arul, Shabir, whoever, the issue is not that. The issue is, does it say that he, God, is the one deceiving? Yes or no?
Is that an end of your term?
No, I'm asking a
No,
question.
you're asking me many
Arul.
questions.
I haven't asked you, I've only asked you one. Does it say here, because you are not
how
answering,
long?
you keep going all over.
No, you
I'm
make
ask-
your points and then let me respond. Please,
Arul,
Shabir.
you have been accustomed to having these kinds of discussions. I don't have discussions like this. I said a conversation, and part of the conversation is that when a question is asked, like you had asked me, I responded to it.
I never
I'm
asked
ask-
you such questions. I finished
Arul.
I presented
Arul,
to you a
last.
case for
Arul,
you to
I'm
respond
saying,
back.
okay, I'll tell you what, in 2 points. Number one, I gave you a very clear indication of what the Creator is saying to us. If you want to misconstrue it, that's entirely your decision about the Quran in Surah 66.
So-
Okay, one second, let me finish. Yeah, I now am saying to you, look, whatever basis of morality you seem to hold as being superior from the Bible, I am saying to you, look, according to the standards of the Bible, everything, unfortunately, is a total fail. Why? Because this verse, which again you still are resisting and coming out with, which prophet that? No, the issue is not who the person being, one second, who the person being addressed is or ought to be. The issue here is a simple one, and I'm going to ask you one last time, and I hope you have the courage to answer. It says here, I, Jehovah, have deceived that.
Can you get
Now, can I ask you, one second, can I ask you, do you agree that here it says that Jehovah deceived?
So, Shabir, The definition he brought up before us. Persuade, not deceive, persuade to do something.
Yeah.
That's the definition, not deceive. Persuade to do something by means of one of two things, according to this definition. One of two things. One of them is deception, and the other one is flattery. That is the definition here. Now, if you want to run, now, excuse me, Shabir, I am now answering. Before,
I'm not saying it.
good, thank you. If you would listen, please.
I'm listening
My
to you.
point is
I
this.
can do two things at the same time.
Good.
Go on.
The reason I asked you for the name of the prophet there is not because I wanted to find who you think Yahweh was deceiving, but rather my point was because we disagree on the definition, on the meaning of the statements that you are reading, I wanted us to go through the illustration of the example for us to clearly see Yahweh of the Bible does not deceive. There was a particular case I had a discussion with Samshi, where the illustration involved false prophets, Yahweh himself, true prophet, and a king. If you take every single entity in that conversation, Samshi thought God was deceiving. None of them was deceived.
Right.
Every single one knew that a lying spirit had gone out with lies and had spoken to false prophets.
Okay.
Every single one of them knew.
Yeah.
No deception involved. Samshi could not even read the context entirely. He was sticking to one word here, one word there. And that seems to be what you are doing there. And that is where I wanted an illustration. Anyway, my point is this. The explanation you have given, what I wanted to discuss about today was about keeping oath. And the point there is Yahweh of the Bible sticks to his word no matter the cost.
Arul.
No matter the cost.
Sorry,
Islamic
Arul,
Allah.
what are you saying? No.
Islamic
Hey,
Allah.
come on, you are not being fair now.
Islamic Allah, on the other hand,
Arul, let's go back to the word in
Surah
way.
66, verses 1, 2, 3, if I could
Arul,
read.
let's go
O
back to the word in
Prophet,
way.
why prohibit you that which Allah has made lawful for you, seeking to please your wives? What duress is involved here? No duress is involved. I'm not saying under duress you can lie. I'm not saying under duress you can break your oath. I'm not suggesting that at all. Yahweh never suggests that to happen. But all that I'm saying is purely because you brought duress into the picture, I'm just clarifying to you clearly there is no duress involved. This is a domestic issue between a man and a couple of his wives. That seems to be the problem. No duress involved unless you're going to suggest Aisha threatened to kill Muhammad or some other wife of Prophet Muhammad threatened to kill him. If that is what you're going to suggest,
Arul.
that's fine. Allah has made lawful for you, lawful,
Arul.
legal for you,
Arul,
absolution from your oaths, and Allah is your protector. And it goes on to say, when the Prophet confided a fact to one of his wives,
Arul.
and when she afterwards divulged it, and Allah informed him of it, he made known part of it and passed over part.
Yes.
The point here is, if you both turn to Allah repentant, what is repentant according to him?
Yeah.
Not having to keep your oath. Is repenting.
Right, okay.
To me, that's a weird definition of
Yeah,
repentance, and that is a weird moral character which is of God.
Okay.
And therefore, my suggestion,
Right,
Shabir, is
okay.
instead of you trying to get all your dictionaries and all that, I'm willing to have a long conversation.
Are you running?
I'm willing to have a long conversation
Arul.
of whether Yahweh of the Bible is a deceiver or if
Arul.
Allah is the greatest of deceivers, Islamic Allah. I'm willing to have that long conversation, but not today. The
Right.
point today is keeping oaths. Islamic Allah doesn't care to.
Right.
He advances the
Okay.
idea of not keeping it.
Okay.
Yahweh wants
I'll-
people to keep it.
Right.
He is the only true God. Islamic
Arul,
Allah
Arul.
either does not exist or is subhuman in moral character.
Arul, please stop preaching so much. Okay, listen. I said very quickly, we are going to conclude now. I think it's, all I said to Brother Arul was if the foundation is totally destroyed, then anything above it is just pie in the sky, respectfully. Now, this one, okay. Now, here is what I said. What Brother Arul tried, he tried a quick one, and I don't blame him, he had to. He quickly asked you to bring up the thing, the definition. And he then used the other words, apart from deception, he used the other words which according to him may apply to that. And I said Ezekiel 14:9, I'm going to read it again. All I want you to do is respond now, okay? It's a very simple thing, okay? It says here, and if the prophet be deceived and speak a word, I, the Lord, have deceived that prophet. Now, do you agree the word here is deceived?
The word used here is but the
deceived.
statement is much wider than the word, and the meaning of the statement must be understood in the context of the passage.
I'm so glad. You see, you must do it in the context